The hum of the server room was Lena's white noise. At 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, the sprawling office complex of Omnicorp was a cathedral of silence and shadows. For Lena, the junior data analyst buried under the urgent final review project, it was just another late night. The flicker of her dual monitors was the only campfire in this digital wilderness. Her back ached. She stretched, her chair groaning in the quiet, a sound that seemed blasphemously loud. On a whim, she pulled out her phone. Her sister, Maya, had been pestering her for proof of life. "Send a pic. You've been ghosting me," her last text read. Lena smirked. A little workplace humor. She held the phone up, angling it to get the perfect drowning in work shot. Her tired face filled the screen, the endless cubicle farm blurred behind her. She tapped the shutter. Click. The phone's flash momentarily blinded her, painting afterimages on her retinas. She blinked, waiting for the preview to pop up. There it was. Her pale face, dark circles under her eyes, a stray curl escaping her ponytail. And then, her eyes drifted to the background. Just over her left shoulder, 3 cubicles back, stood a man. Lena's heart stuttered. She spun around, her breath catching in her throat. The aisle was empty. Nothing but the skeletal shapes of office chairs and the dull gray fabric of the cubicle walls. "Hello," she called out, her voice small and swallowed by the vast, open-plan space. No answer. Just the relentless, low hum of technology. She turned back to her phone, her thumb swiping to the photo to zoom in. Her blood ran cold. The man was tall, gaunt, wearing an old-fashioned suit that looked decades out of date. His posture was unnaturally stiff. But it was his face that made her stomach clench into a frozen knot. It wasn't menacing, not in a traditional sense. It was empty. His eyes were dark, depthless pools, fixed directly on the back of her head. He wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at her. "It's a reflection," her rational mind insisted, a desperate anchor. A trick of the light from a whiteboard. A poster. Something. But the figure had a dreadful solidity. A presence. With trembling fingers, she held up the phone again, this time switching to the video camera. She panned slowly across the office, the screen showing a live feed of empty desks and silent monitors. Nothing. She breathed a shaky sigh of relief. A glitch. A weird pixelation error. It had to be. She lowered the phone. And in the periphery of her vision, a movement flickered. Her head snapped up. There. 30 feet away. A dark shape receding around the corner toward the break room. The same gaunt tallness. Fear, sharp and acidic, flooded her veins. This was no glitch. She was not alone. "Who's there?" she demanded, standing up, her knees weak. She grabbed a heavy stapler from her desk, a pathetic weapon against the paranormal. "I saw you. I have a picture." Silence. Then, a soft, rhythmic sound began. Scrape, drag. Scrape, drag. It was the sound of something heavy being pulled across the thin commercial carpet. It was coming from the break room. Every instinct screamed at her to run, to flee to the elevator bank and never look back. But a morbid, terrifying curiosity rooted her to the spot. She had to know. She had to see. She crept forward, phone held out like a shield, her thumb hovering over the record button. The scrape-drag sound grew louder with each step. The breakroom door was half closed, throwing a long, distorted shadow into the hallway. She peeked around the doorframe. The room was dark, illuminated only by the faint green glow of the microwave clock and the soda machine. It was empty. The sound had stopped. But the air was frigid, a pocket of winter in the climate-controlled building. And the smell, the coppery tang of old pennies, of static electricity after a lightning strike. Her phone buzzed in her hand, making her jump. A notification lit up the screen, storage almost full. Delete unnecessary photos to free up space. Before she could process it, her photo app suddenly flickered open on its own. Her selfie filled the screen. And the figure was closer now. It was in the cubicle directly behind her, its hollow face mere inches from her hair, its mouth slightly agape as if caught in a silent whisper. Lena gasped, fumbling with the phone, trying to close the image. But it wouldn't respond. The app was frozen. Then, the image began to zoom in on the ghost's face, all on its own, pixelating and distorting until the screen was a mess of digital noise. The overhead fluorescent light in the break room flickered once, twice, and died with a faint pop. From the darkness behind her, in the main office, the scraping started again. But this time, it was faster. Urgent. And it was right behind her. She didn't dare turn around. She could feel it. A pressure, a coldness leaching all the warmth from her back. She stared into the black screen of her phone, now a dark mirror. And in its reflection, she saw it standing there. Not a digital phantom anymore, but a physical reality of impossible stillness and profound cold. Its dark eyes were no longer fixed on her. They were fixed on its reflection on her phone. A cracked, papery whisper filled her mind, not through her ears but inside her skull. See me. It wasn't a question. It was a plea. A desperate, lonely need forged over decades of being unseen. The scraping sound was its foot, she realized. Dragging, as if injured. This wasn't a predator. It was a prisoner. Trapped in this place of photocopiers and quarterly reports, a remnant of whatever building, whatever tragedy, had stood on this land before Omnicorp. The fear didn't leave her, but it morphed. The stapler fell from her numb hand, thudding softly on the carpet. Slowly, trembling so hard she could barely control her movements, she raised her phone. She didn't turn around. She simply switched the camera to front-facing view. The ghost filled the screen, a monochrome nightmare superimposed over her own terrified face. She held her breath. And she took the picture. Click. The flash illuminated the break room for a split second. In that burst of light, the figure smiled. It was not a threatening smile, but one of profound, heartbreaking gratitude. Then the light was gone. The cold vanished. The pressure lifted. The air warmed, leaving only the smell of stale coffee. Lena stood alone in the dark, her heart hammering against her ribs. She finally dared to look at her phone. The storage warning was gone. The app was responsive. The new photo was there. It was just her, wide-eyed and pale, standing in the break room. There was nothing behind her. She never saw the figure again. She finished her project and left as the sun was rising. But she never deleted the original selfie. She looks at it sometimes, not with fear, but with a somber understanding. It wasn't there to haunt her. It was there to be seen. And the real horror wasn't the ghost itself, but the terrifying, lonely eternity of being invisible. The office is quiet now. But Lena knows. Some things don't leave. They just wait. For a flash of light in the darkness. For a witness. For someone to finally see them.